Texas, and they calling his name. Talking this shit, bro, you did it again.
They can say it out loud, this is an animal.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show, the It's Just Lost podcast hosted by me, Lossy Loss. How's everyone doing? My guest tonight, very special guest, bruh. He's done everything that you can think of in terms of media in New Zealand. He's an MC of fight shows. He's worked for Māori Television, Sky Sport, UFC Fightpass, just anything. He's on the radio a lot, so you probably heard his voice, you know, mesmerizing you through the waves. My very special guest, my brother Isaac Savage. How you, my bro?
I'm very good, man. What an intro. Jeez, I didn't even know I'd done all that myself. Thank you.
Right, you're a busy man. You're a busy man, bro. How you been?
You're good, bro. Good. I mean, speaking of that, up until lockdown, I was super busy, tried to keep busy, but last night just goes to show that things are happening again. Like I went to the Mark Hunt screening, obviously for the fight for his life. So things are starting back up, bro. And it's been good. It's been good, bro.
Oh, bro, yeah, I seen something like that on Facebook. How was that?
Well, bro, for me, it was spiritual, holistic. It was fulfilling. Like, I've followed that guy since I was 14. I felt like I was one of the ones that had followed him more so from his journey. I've read his book 3 times, met him multiple times, know a lot of people in his life. And, one amazing thing I took away from that is that a guy with no martial arts experience, 2 years into the game, walked away with one of the biggest trophies in the world, more so through his grit, his determination, and just being a hard island boy, bro.
Island boy. Hey, he's an island boy. He's one of the first, the realest.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, bro, I've seen when there was just the screening, right? Hey.
Yeah. It's the thing is, it would have been a bit more of a premiere, but like lockdown's changed so much. So yeah, it comes out next year. And Look, if you're a fan, not even if you're a fight fan, if you just want to see a good story, for a warrior, a guy making out of South Auckland, then go see that. But just not even that, just the whole fight game, determination, and what it takes to get to the top of the top, no matter what you do in this world.
And he's one of the pioneers as well, like coming up, like in New Zealand, every fighter coming up, right? We all know who Mark Hunt was, and everybody, obviously not all of us had the power. Like I won't have the power of Mark Hunt, but you just wanna, when you see him knocking dudes out, you just like, bro, I want to do that shit. I want to be Mark Hunt. You know how everyone that's a Kobe fan or Michael Jordan fan is just like, Jordan, and then but when you knock somebody out, it's like Mark Hunt, cuz.
Well, some people just born for it, and like you, bro, like you've got to the top of the top. You've been to different gyms, you've fought around the world, and you yourself have a natural skill set, natural talent. But you would have been around people too. You've been in the Vizzy and trained the likes of all people around the world, and some people are just born with it, bro.
Yeah. Well, that's I think, yeah. I believe that. Like hard work comes into it, but you can't really teach power, right? You can't really, like, that's just a gift that you're born with. Mike Tyson, freaking, what's his name? Deontay Wilder, that stuff there. Look at Deontay, like the power that he's got for somebody so small, so skinny, right? And for him to generate that much pressure and just talking it blows my mind how somebody can carry that much power and be that, skinny like me.
Well, the thing is too, but you're a bit of an abnormality, right? Because you don't judge a book by its cover. You're a bit shredded, and you can throw. There's some guys out there like Tyson Fury, like Mark Hunt. They ain't got a 6-pack like you, Flying Fijian.
I'm lucky, I guess. I'm lucky. Good genetics, bruh.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, hey, doesn't it run the family? Come on, tell us, who's one of your cousins? Who's one of your cousins that fights as well?
T-Mon,
yeah,
Terrence, yeah. He's a specimen, bro. He needs to be a model, bro. To be honest, like coming up, this like little sexy thing, bro. He definitely should transition into modeling, because he's got it.
But he can go Drake styles with the beard. He can cut it off. He still looks smooth. and he can throw, you know. And I know that you guys have done some rounds. I know you've been supporting me over the years, but I remember I was MC for a fight night against him and Alex Redhead, you know, a bit of a Van Damme lookalike. And Mike Ekele was watching over in Bali, giving me hassles as he always does. And your cousin got knocked down with a shot that, bro, most people would not get up from. He looked kind of flatlined.
Yeah,
but he got back up, and he won the fight.
I tell you, bro, this kid's got so much heart. It's so mental. I watched that fight, bro, and like watching it, seeing that happen was like, it was like, I don't know, it was like the boogeyman or something helped him up, bro. It was like some type of spur, bro, and that's just his heart, right? His brain shut off, but his heart got him back, and then he came back and won the fight. You know, that's something that still blows my mind to this day.
I think too that, like, you know, you can't train for those things. Like, you do the rounds in the gym, you might take some heavy shots, but you got to admit, right, you could do like 200 rounds at the gym, but when you walk up to that ring, the lights are on, your gloves are strapped, you can't take them off. It's not just a tape; they're strapped on. It's different. And you this is a question for you, but I bet you, right, you've walked into some fight nights thinking, you know, you actually probably walk into training sessions feeling like better than what you do into some fights, right? Because the lights, the energy, the everything, there's just such different pressure once you're walking in.
Yeah, bro, it's hard to put into words really what that feeling is, right? You know, there are moments where I know there've been moments where I'm like, I wish something will happen. Like I wish that the building will catch on fire, or you know, there's going to be something, you know, there's moments there, and then you're just like, when then Ethan calls it, like Ethan says, it's that little bitch in your head, right? It's just telling you, just like, you know, and he's just like, and you hear that little bitch, as he says, like 6 weeks leading up to the fight. Like, you know, once you know that you're fighting, you hear it, but then I think with experience, that voice becomes quieter. Like you don't hear it, because I remember early in my career when I first started having those thoughts in my head leading up to it. But, you know, the more fights that I had, the more experience that I had, that voice became quieter. I still heard it. Like you could still hear it, but you learn to just, you know, it's just white noise now. You know what I mean? So it's, and the lights and everything else like that. I prefer fighting when there's a lot of people. Like I thrive when I know, like, especially if I'm fighting away from home, when I know there's a lot of people wanting to see me get hurt. I love it. Like it's just, I don't know what it is. It's pride, ego, everything that comes with being a fighter, right? And I thrive in like fighting in China. Every fight was you're gonna get knocked out fight, right? So for me, it was just like, I love it. I was in my element.
Yeah, that would have been wild over there. And I mean, like, because how many fights did you have in China now? And how long were you over there?
Oh, bro, I was there for about 2 years. And there was a time, bro, like we had, I don't even know how many fights we had. There was one time where I fought 6 times in 4 weeks. Yeah, so that was like mental. And so we had so many fights, bro. Like if you look at Izzy's record and Blood's record, you know, those are the official numbers. There's been way more fights. Like Blood's had probably double the amount of fights that has been recorded officially. Like I've had probably a lot more than what my record says as well, because then you fight in these random ass places, in these random ass cities. And and nothing really gets recorded, bro. So it was more for us going over there, was more like, you know, in Dragon Ball Z, the hyperbolic chamber, right? You go in, you go in, you have all these experiences in there, and you come out and then your day is gone by. And that's exactly how it felt like, you know, coming back from there. That was the shit.
My sister went over there years ago, and she's a vegan, and it's safe to say that she could not be a vegan over there because they ate anything and everything. And I know you would have eaten some things over there that you probably even know what the heck it was, right?
Yeah, bro. Like, well, the first phrase that I learned was "Jiga Shishima." That means like, what is this? Jiga Shishima. Jigashisima. And then like a lot of times they wouldn't even know how to say it in English. So I learned how to like different meats like neuro, yarrow, chiro, you like fish, pork, chicken, you know, and then their thing. And there was this one time where we went and we fought by Afghanistan. Oh, not Afghanistan, sorry, Kazakhstan. Right on the border of Kazakhstan, bro. There's the western part, like northwestern part of China. And so they brought all this meat on the table, bro. And I was like, okay, what is this? And then they're like, yeah. Then they were, bro, straight up. This one time, bro, the funniest one, bro. And I've told this story to the boys at the gym. I actually sent them photos. There was lamb penis, like lamb dick on the table. Right, so they brought it out, bro, and then like, you know, and it's the wheel of fortune. You know what I mean? Like you have all your different meats and stuff. So they brought it out. Bro was slicing it all up, and then there was like all this food, right? And then I recognized the different meats, right? And there was this one that sort of came in front of me, and I was, because at the time I was teaching at this Olympic theater school, teaching kickboxing, and the teachers that I was with, they were like, you know, they're real hospitable, the Chinese, so they're passing food and shit like that. And then so I was like Jigashishima to all of this stuff, and then I was like, Jigashishima, this thing that was sliced in front of me, and it's like thinly sliced, right? And then they looked at each other, and they were like, they were like, okay. And I was like, Jigashishima, and then they're like, how cha, like dipping it in the sauce and then eating it, and they put some on my plate. And I was like, no, bro, what is this? Like that, nobody could speak English there, so that's like the language barrier was crap. But I was like, Jigashishima, and they're like, oh, how cha, like delicious, it's delicious. And then I go, what is it? And then they were like this, like point down, bro, by their knob, and they were like,
oh no!
I was just like, bro, I'm full, bro. No thanks. That's not for me, right? So,
but in saying that, bro, like with that trip and like life in Jordan now, do you follow a like kind of set diet, or do you not eat certain things, or within reason? It's not like you eat like, you know, burgers every day. Like what's your diet like now, and even when you're like hardcore training, like what does it sort of consist of?
My diet now is just like I have, like, I'm not really a sweet tooth, so I can stay away from sweets and stuff like that. In terms of my diet, bro, unless I am like training for a fight, I tend to eat healthy-ish. Like I do love my Chinese food, which is weird because I only ate Chinese food for 2 years. You'd think that I'll be sick of it, but we eat Chinese food a lot here at the house. And Victor, one of my mates who owns a restaurant in town, like we're there pretty much every weekend, you know, just smashing it.
But is it hard to get the same? Because, you know, I've been to Thailand like 10 times, bro, and I don't like New Zealand Thai food. You know, because I compare it always to Thailand. Do you not mind the Chinese food here in New Zealand compared to what you tried in home?
Well, we don't usually eat takeaway Chinese food. Like Victor's has quite authentic food. There's another place here called Sichuan, which is it reminds me of the taste of China, right? Because when I came back, the takeaway Chinese food was all westernized. So I was just like, I don't want to eat this crap, you know? So the Sichuan food was, and Victor's got some Malaysian dishes that are like on.
But, hey, shout out to Victor, right? So if you go to Tron, go to Victor's. Is he sponsoring the show?
Hey, yeah. Victor's Palace, guys. Victor's Place. If you ever in Hamilton, go to Victor's. It's the best Chinese food in Hamilton. I could probably say best in New Zealand, bro. Go check it out.
You're gonna get free feeds now, eh?
Nah, he's the bro. He's been looking after me for a long time, bro. He's the man. He's actually the man. Yeah, bro. Nah, so the Chinese food, bro, that's like something that I don't know. I eat too much of it, but I still think you can never have enough Chinese food, right?
Oh, look, there's so many dishes and there's so many things. There's always go-tos, and yeah, I mean, I love it as well. But there's a few out there that are dangerous. The egg foo young, the sweet and sour pork. That's probably not the real stuff. Like you said, the Sichuan is the good stuff. Like
bro. Yeah, the Sichuan, all that goodness, all that goodness, bro. I was looking on, I was like reading a couple things online about you, and I came across this article, the people of influence. I seen you got a new job there. Well, what's that about, bro?
Yeah, well, funny you are. So it's an events and publicity, and it revolves around basically musicians, artists, and I guess celebrities. So there's two parts of the company. One looks after all the PR and I guess concerts like the R&Bs, the Dua Lipas. Think of any artist that comes here that we usually look after the PR side. So letting the media and the public know that they're arriving. And then part of my role is working with our influencers, and they're in either sport, music, film, and other areas. And that's been awesome because I'm working with people that have genuine influence and not just on the internet. So that's, I guess, the criteria for that. And talking to some amazing people, it's awesome. It's what I want to do.
Yeah, and you fit that perfectly, bro. Like I was reading a couple things about it, and like that's definitely you. I mean, you've been around promoting fight shows and stuff like that for a long time, and especially us fighters with NZ Fighter and all of your interviews. Like you're staple now in the New Zealand fight scene. Whether you know it or not. Like knowing you, bro, it's a good thing. And sliding into that role of people of influence, being that, what was it, talent manager something, bro. It's like you need a t-shirt for that shit, because that sounds very, very important.
Well, the thing is too, like, there's still a lot to learn for me in that role and position, but like anything, I reckon, right, like your role, your job, it's the energy you put in and how passionate you are about it. Whether you be, you're a baker or you do what I do, you're an accountant. If you're good at what you do, you've got a really natural enthusiasm for an aptitude, then you'll do okay. But I think too, you're right. Like from what I've been doing over the past few years, some things are falling into place naturally, and but we're always learning as well. And so far, so good.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what's that saying? When you stop learning, you start dying, right? And that's
I've got to admit though, as I get older, learning's not as easy because I feel like your brain gets hardwired into a certain way. And I think as natural humans, we love shortcuts. I don't know about you, but I'm all about a shortcut. If I can get A to B by going through a few back streets, I'll do it.
Well,
but that's not always the best way.
Well, working smarter, not harder. That's the most efficient way to get through life, right? Sometimes the hard way is the only way, but like, if there's an easier way, obviously I'm the same too. Like sometimes even in trainings, I'm like, I'll do it like this, and then Ethan will see me and I'm like, okay, nah, that's not the way to do it. He's just like, move, you lazy cunt.
Well, that's the thing. Like, that's an area you can't shortcut, I reckon, because you heard David Hayes say once, we don't get paid for overtime. So yeah, you want to make short work of your fights, but you can't be awesome at certain things without almost that 10,000 hour rule. And you can't go into a fight or whatever it may be and think you're going to smash if you haven't done the hard yards. And if you would have seen it, bro, like you've traveled around. I bet you've gone to the gyms, right? And you're the best. And it's one, because you are good, but it's because you've done the training. And I bet you've gone to other gyms too where you're not the best, and sometimes that's a better place to be. I reckon it's better being at places where you're constantly climbing or trying to be the best. You're surrounded by people that are better than you, because then it only makes you better, whether you know it or can't even see it at the time or not.
Yeah, 100%. And that's exactly how I felt when I started training at CKB. Right, like down here, sparring down here, training with the boys here. Like I wasn't always the fittest, but in terms of just like getting through it and with the sparring and everything, I would always stand out, right? But then when I went up to city and realized, bro, there's levels to this shit. You know what I mean? And then and for me, just even walking into the gym, it felt like I was just getting better, bro. It's such a crazy feeling, the atmosphere, everything.
I've got a funny story about CKB because I train there now. I actually had my CKB top on before, had some stains on it. So I was like, oh, shit, no, I'll be not with this. Because you'll be like, what are those stains, bro? Man, take care of that top.
That's why you were late.
No. Christmas shopping.
Oh, yeah.
And I was when I first got to Auckland, bro. I trained at City Liga with Tony and the boys. You know, it's like a family there, City Liga. And then I've trained at other gyms, Thierry Bachelor, the boxing. You know, like Giovanna Perez, and then I went to CKB only just this year. I was kind of avoiding it because I've been in media so long and in the fight scene. I thought I don't want to go in. Because I don't know if you know, bro, but I'm a fight fan. I was a fighter before I got onto all this, and I didn't want to go there because I thought that like they might like look at me like I'm just trying to go there to get the scoop.
Yeah,
I was just going there to train, and I had to chat to Eugene, and because I had probably like eight fights or so, and I was like, oh, is there sparring this weekend? He's like, yeah, like why? I was like, can I come? And he's like, yeah, have you fought? I was like, yeah. My last fight was Nort Beauchamp, who trains at thing, but it was a hard night in the office. And he's like, whoa, okay, yeah, sweet. Went in, you know, and I seriously think I got my rib broken the first.
Holy shit.
And I don't know if it was like bad luck or just trying to go back in there too fast. And I kind of want to relate it back to training though. Like as a fighter, you've got a mindset that you always go at Hundy. It's really hard to ease back into things. Like if you go for a run, it's so hard to be like, okay, I want to run 10K, but I've got to run 1K today and then maybe 1.5 tomorrow, 1.5 for a few days and then build up. As a fighter or as an extremist, I don't think you have that mindset. Like if you go back, you just want to go Hundy straight away. Yeah. And that happened. And I was like, oh, you idiot. But like, you can't really tell yourself not to go hard when you don't have that mindset. Yeah,
that's true. That automatic fight or flight thing comes in, right? So your that fighter in you comes out automatically without you even thinking, right? And then that's how those things happen, like having your rib broken, brother.
Wow. Look, maybe I'm being soft.
No. I know what you mean.
No, get this. When I was at Bali MMA with your boy Mike, I on New Year's Eve I got my nose broken because I was with Eve, I was with Punya. We're having some fun on the rooftop. You know, a couple of drinks later, got the gloves out, and Punya Sai, you know, he probably got the better of me quite easily. But we're just playing around. Anyways, we went back to training a day or so later, and a dude did a flying knee into my nose again, and I heard it crunch.
Sparring.
And I was like, yeah, just sparring or pad rounds or something. And then I was just like, fuck, I'm stopping now, and I don't want to continue anymore. And Mike's like, fuck you're Kiwi. Come on. I'm like, fuck, my nose is like bent. I'm like, fuck. And you got to admit, bro, like, even though Mike's funny as, he's a hard ass man. He's a hard ass trainer. Yeah. He trains champs. He trains killers. Anyone that under the tutelage of him for like a reasonable amount of time becomes better. And Ethan came over there too while we were there. And the Bali MMA boys loved him because obviously we had Mike there, we had striking coaches, but he brings another level as well. He's just a straight up mongrel, a funny guy, a surfer. Yeah. Great guy to yarn to, just a all round cool guy, you know. Like I like Ethan, and he brought a new level to that as well. And I know you've probably done some training with Mike over the years.
Yeah. I have. Me and Mike haven't spent too much time together, but every session that we have together, it's a lot of talking shit and a lot of hard work, you know. And it's so funny because there's the talking shit is in between the hard work, so it's just like it doesn't actually make it seem that hard. You know what I mean? Ethan's sort of the same too. Like Ethan's a very in terms of training style, being a coach, Ethan's more pushy on just fitness and work, right? There's the finesse and everything that comes in, but he's probably like 90% fitness and then 10% skills, right? And that for me and me and Quaid, we talk about it, like we've spoken about it over the years. We're just like, far, bro. Like we are just like how he trains us. Like it's weird because the fitter we get, the better we become, right? But then there's moments where we've thought about we need some finesse, and then when you go and you train somewhere that's just more about finesse than the fitness, you don't feel like you've done any work. Do you know what I mean? Like I had a strength and conditioning coach, like the bro Bill, and when we were doing it, after our sessions, I'd feel like, frick, I could go for more. Whereas how he trains, the strength and conditioning guys, they actually pinpoint, like they prioritize certain muscles, certain explosive movements and stuff like that. And then that's it. Okay, that's done. We're done for the day. And it's just like, whereas with Ethan, red line, Monday, Tuesday, red line, and for me now, I don't feel like I've trained unless I feel like dying afterwards.
You nailed it, bro. And for lack of better words, bro, I've seen nerds beat what would almost look like mob members, gang members, and a guy that's got no tats, but he's fit, because fatigue takes a man out of anyone. And I've seen guys rocking and they haven't broken their spirit. They haven't been intimidated. They just keep going. Third round or even second round, you see the paradigm shift. You see that guy that was scary at the start, trying to throw, stand and bang, his ticker stops, and no matter how scary somebody looks, if you got the fitness, bruh, like you'll continue forward. And I think that's such a good thing to teach. And I think it's good as we move forward in the sport that we do get a little bit more scientific about things, because hey, look, there's nothing wrong with hard sparring, but it's and training hard, but it's, some of the stories I heard, even talking to Neil Walker, I did an interview him a year or so ago, and he'd say, when he was there with Ray Seffel and the likes, people were getting like KO'd and then still in training and still carrying on. And that's not saying anything out of turn. That's just how it was.
Yeah.
Whereas now, if you get KO'd in training, it's it probably may happen from time to time with people. We've all been rocked. We've been rocked in sparring.
Yeah, we've all had gym wars and stuff like that. I understand the scientific side of things. I think with the way combat sports is evolving right now, I think we need to definitely be smarter, because it's not a meathead sport anymore, right? Back in the day, it was all meatheads, right? I remember this one time, we were going hard in the gym. It was myself and Fo actually, and Fo picked me up and like slammed me into the wall, bro. And then like it was a pretty just rough scrap. And then Eugene goes, "Are you fucking meatheads? Are you fucking meatheads?" And then it was just like, he's like, "Oh, okay, now we'll just carry on like it." And then that's cool, because it's just like, sometimes our pride gets the better of us, and that's when the meathead comes out. All your skills go out the window and you just want to scrap, But it's cool that we're actually moving away from that, because we're all about longevity now, and if you're going to have gym wars, like unless you're from bloody in the Netherlands at Mike's gym, bro, where Ernesto Hoost and all those boys, Nicky Holskin, they spar hard all the time, you know what I mean, and they can't be good for longevity, right?
No, and I'm glad you mentioned Fo. I mean, I just want to mention one thing. I actually saw him that night. I was emceeing an event where your cousin fought.
I was there.
He didn't get the win. Yeah, so you would have saw Fo that night as well. And I interviewed Izzy just quickly, 5 or 10 minutes, and I asked him how it's training and how's it been today. And I think you would have saw it too, or it's come up a few times, that he said he got his licks that day from Fo.
Yeah,
and I just want to touch on that, because that's the world champ, Izzy Adesanya, one of the best strikers in the world. Like literally, he's so cerebral. And obviously it's a shame what happened. I would have loved to have seen how far and where he went. And I mean, what a devastating thing to happen. However, I just hope his legacy lives on through the gym and other fighters and his brothers.
Yeah, for sure. Like funny story. I was actually thinking about him today while I was driving, and I was thinking, like, he was the only welterweight in New Zealand that made me nervous about fighting him. Like eventually, honestly, like that's the honest truth. he was the only welterweight in New Zealand. If I like in MMA and kickboxing, I wasn't so worried, but I knew us coming up together eventually we'll have to fight each other. And I like honestly, I was just driving this morning and thinking about him and thinking he was, bro. He was the only welterweight that I would think about fighting that would actually make me nervous, you know. And then he's such a cool dude too.
And how crazy is that? Because he only had, I'm not going to say his record off the top of my head because I don't know, but I know it's probably like 10 to 20 fights, maybe around that mark. And your experience, probably stand-up wise, is higher than that. But his striking was just on another level, and that's where we go back to the whole Bournemouth that some people are just, you know, have that natural X factor. And you know, you did rounds with them, and could you see that as well? I heard it because I never got to spar him, but I heard his hits were hard.
Yeah. Like when it was funny when we would spar, it'll start off light and then it'll turn into we're both the same weight, you know, we're both looking for the same, you know, thing, and then it'll like it's gotten hard. I think twice in the like we've sparred a few times, and like twice it's gotten hard. Once was when Eugene yelled at us. So but yeah, and his progression was the craziest thing. Like from when I first sparred him, touching him a lot, to where the last time we sparred, where he made me hesitate on going too far in, you know what I mean? Like, and he just got so good in such a short amount of time. And what Izzy said was Foal used to go away and come back better. Like he was having some secret training sessions somewhere just to get better. He was like one of those, like the, you know, those samurais, like he wore this mask because it was like, it was signifying like him going, the shogun going away and then coming back with all these skills. And that's how I felt it was, you know what I mean? And like, yeah, he definitely, it's hard. That's that Tongan power, bro. That shit says you're just born with it, you know?
That's all that horse, the Tongans in that horse, they must, there's inherit some natural power. Now, and saying that, bro, a bit of a segue, and you know, much respect to our boy Foal, you know, rest in love to the brother up in the clouds. With sparring, when someone, you know, there's always this unwritten, unspoken thing. I'll go as hard as you go, right? What do you do, right, when someone starts like teeing off on you, and it's like, whoa, hang on a minute, this is sparring, bro. We're here to help. I'm here to develop. What do you do when they start teeing off? Do you tee off back, or do you just evade? What do you do?
It depends on the skill level, right? Like if it's a somebody who I know that I can beat up, somebody that's a newbie, I'll just warn them. I'll be like, bruh, like, don't, you know, like, I go, I'm going to go as hard as you go, all right? So if you're going to keep throwing to try and hurt me, I'm going to hurt you, right? And then when it happens, I wouldn't knock somebody out, but a nice time body rip, bro.
I'm glad you said that.
Is the best thing, you know, like, just hit it, get it. When you hit somebody right in the liver, bro, it's the best thing because you see, like, you see their soul leave their body, right? And it's just like, you know, in cartoons when the angel flies away, and it's just like, ah. And the sucky thing is 10 seconds later, you're right. So when it happens in the fight, you're like in the worst pain ever. And then 10, 15 seconds later, you're sweet again, you know? So when... Yeah,
no, it's like Oscar De La Hoya, bro, when he got hit with a body shot, he's banging the ground trying to get up. And you're right. I think it's probably better to do that than, you know, give them a left hook to the head, body rip.
Yeah, because they just don't understand. And then, like, going back to what I said about the fight or flight thing, when you're sparring somebody with way more experience than you, like a lot of dudes either go too light or too defensive, or they'll just like, you know, and especially a lot of my new boys that come through, that's it. It's just, and it's just like, cuz don't do that. Like, well, let's learn. Like, I'll let you hit me, tee off and stuff like that. But once you try and start trying to knock me out, that's when I'm going to hurt you. And I'm going to hurt you because I love you. All right.
And how fulfilling is that though? Like, you know, you coming up and still obviously competing, but how fulfilling is it for you to see guys get better and mature as men, women and fighters, martial artists, you know.
Yeah. Well, you broke up a little bit there. What'd you say?
I said, how fulfilling is it, you know, you as a fighter and still continuing to be a fighter, but now as a martial arts trainer, teacher, when you see these guys develop, and it doesn't happen overnight, but it happens over time. And is it, you know, how does that feel for you as a trainer at times?
It's quite rewarding, actually. I was talking to one of my boys on the weekend and just telling him how you know, like how much better he's been from when he first started to now, and just seeing the growth and seeing the confidence as well. Like a lot of my boys that come to me aren't, you know, they're first time fighters, but they come to me for confidence. They come to me to learn something, you know what I mean? And seeing the confidence in them grow, you know, fighting, you don't just become a better fighter, you become a better person all out. Like I know fighting for me, it's changed my outlook on life. Like I've always been quite a positive person anyway, but just having that confidence in knowing that you can do anything that you want, because the biggest test of a man is jumping in those ropes, right? And for me, fighting, everything in fighting has translated well in my life. Like me doing like a couple of different business side hustles and stuff like that, and then that confidence and that work ethic from fighting, like it helped a lot, you know what I mean? So when my boys are from where they were to where they are, it's cool to see. I feel like a proud dad sometimes.
Yeah, I was so jealous too when we were talking, and you know, you came on Rumble on the radio, and I was like, are you guys training? And you kind of got you guys outside of Auckland, it was a little bit normal, and you've sort of been training the whole time all the way through to an extent. Like, I mean, you don't wear masks and stuff, eh? Like, what's been happening? How's training been going?
Nah, we've been training, bro. Like, there's nothing. Like, we haven't. We gotta word this correctly, right? We gotta word this correctly. We follow the rules, all right, all the way through. But we've constantly been training, bro. You know, social distancing. You know, the sparring is shadow sparring in front of each other. You know, the rolling is shadow rolling. Nah, but we've been training, bruh. Like there's like the work doesn't stop, and then like there's nothing really. How do I word this without getting taken down?
Okay, look, let's just move on. You follow the rules.
Yeah.
You're saying that, bro. I just came back from the mall, and I forgot my mask.
Oh,
and I felt like the only one in there. And then
naughty.
I know. Well, hey, come on, man. Are we even going to bring up vaxxers, COVID today?
Bro. Yeah. I honestly don't care.
Well, no, I went to the shop and I was like, I just had to pick up something. I was like, oh, do I have to wear a mask? And they were like, oh, well, I guess, but there's other people not wearing them. And I was like, okay. And then they gave me one and I put it on. But you know what? I put it on more so to conform in a way, because I looked like a bit of an outlaw not doing it. And all I'm saying is I hope we get back to, you know, we've traveled the world, right? We've been to places, we went there before all of this happened. And I just pray that we get back to some sort of normality to an extent where we can, you know, go back to how things were. But I'm not sure that's going to happen, bro. What about you?
I don't think so, bro. Like, I mean, with the way, not just the world, but New Zealand, like we're heading down a really weird path, right? And people, like, for the fact, like with these mandates, right? Just that choice being taken away, you know, especially going against the Bill of Rights. Like, you know, there's a lot of people still fighting out there, and a lot of people who are struggling as well because of the mandates. Like, people have lost their job over something that, on paper, bruh, it just doesn't. There's no real reason for that shit. You know what I mean? And when you look at it, nothing makes sense, right? But you've got so many people who are so, yeah, dude, no, it makes sense, mate. Like, it's just like, no, cuz, what do you mean? So that means if I take this, because I've taken it, the guy who hasn't taken it, he's a danger to me. But isn't the thing that I'm taking supposed to protect me from anything else? Like, how is he the guy that's You know, it just doesn't make sense, bro. One source of truth, all that shit, just like it freaking. I don't think we're going to go back to normal without pushback, bro. And it's real frightening to say that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, like, you know, there's all sorts of things out there. We follow the media we want to follow. I just think once people start telling you what to do, it's almost like this. As you're growing up and your parents said come home at 10, usually you get home at 11 or sometimes a little bit later. And I'm not saying, look, I'll throw it out there, I've been vaxxed, and the only reason being is that I want to continue on with a normal life.
Yeah, I mean, we all have to, bro. You know?
I feel as, and in fact, getting too philosophical, as a fighter, as a person, whatever you do in this life, it's written. Your time is up when it's up. And shit, if the vax is going to take me out, that'd be a crap way to go. But it didn't, so I'm still here. And I just want to continue on with a normal life. However, I do see the other side too, why people won't take it. And that's completely up to them. But it's going to get to a stage where, unfortunately, it's separated people and opinions, because I've got people in my family, friend circle, that haven't. And I just say, let's just not talk about it, because look, bro, you're eating chicken nuggets and you're sculling back a couple of beers, but you won't do that. So come on.
Yeah, it's a rough one to get into, because, like, I mean, like, one side of the argument is, you know, I don't know what's in it. But it's just like, cause we've all done shit. You know what I mean? Like, we've all done stuff that we weren't supposed to, and put shit in our body that we weren't supposed to. The thing that gets me is, take this or you lose your livelihood. You know what I mean? Take this or you won't, like with the whole 2-class system, right? Like, take this or that. So for me, I'm all for you know, medical, like, you know, because we've come a long way in terms of medicine, right? But once you take somebody's power of choice away, that's a road that we don't ever want to go down.
And believe me, I'm not an Eddie Bravo. I'm not at all. And I was actually at a UFC, and he was behind me, blazed as, like, his eyes are like this. And I'm like, what? How am I in a row in front of Eddie Bravo? What the hell's going on here? That was at UFC 200, bro. Where Brock was juiced to the gills, and Mark wasn't, or, you know, obviously, you know, fought as he did. Now, a bit of a segue, because we're talking about medicine, vaccines, all that kind of stuff. What are your thoughts on, you know, I wouldn't say blood doping, but someone using those things in sport? Because we all know it happens. Whatever, weightlifting, bodybuilding, fighting. What are your thoughts? Like,
I think people. Well, to be honest, I don't think fighting. You shouldn't be like, if you're gonna take it, you know, like, you should fight for, like, resin or something. Like, you just got to be open about it, and
or one,
or one, you know. But, like, you know, because you go down a real dangerous path, right? With TJ taking the EPO, like, that shit will kill her. Like, could have killed him, right? With the wrong dosage. I honestly, like, to be honest, when I'm done fighting, I'm gonna get juiced to shit and go bro. I'm gonna get juiced to shit and get me a contract in Russia, bro. Because then that anything goes there. So that's like. But my views on it, if you're fighting, like, you got to try and keep it clean as possible, because, like, if you've got an unfair advantage against somebody, then everything that you've done up until that point where you got popped has now got an asterisk. Everything that you've done up, so you can never ever be the greatest, right, or be the best in your sport if you've popped.
100%. I love your philosophy, right? Because, like, there's a lot of people that talk about things that have never been through it. Like, picture yourself growing up in the States, playing college football, and, you know, bro, the money over there to get a college football contract, NFL, is, you know, you're getting millions. And say you're on the right way up and everyone was juicing and you could too, and it wasn't really tested for, you know, your loyalty, everything, your integrity you'd question a lot in your mind, your morals, and you may or may not do it. You may probably do it if it was going to get your head, but you can't say until you've been through that situation. And it happens in all sports.
Yeah.
But I guess when it happens in fight sport, it does put someone else at an unfair advantage in a way. Well, in a lot of ways. Because look at Overeem. I was going to say Overeem, but Overeem. He was freaky looking. I mean, Brock, juice too. And a lot of people do it. They're always doing things to be 1 degree out from what is tested and what isn't. Half of them probably aren't saying that just isn't tested yet.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe that most high level fighters are on something, right? But I don't like to what extent. Who knows? You know, if Nate Diaz says everyone's on steroids. You know, Nate Diaz. So he knows because he's been around it, right? But I think if everyone's on it, then it's fair, right? It's an even playing field. But then you've got guys who, like Mark Hunt, right? He comes in, climbs to the top without using anything, and then right when he could go to that next level, getting that title, he fights. You know what I mean? He's fought guys who have popped. So that's that unfair advantage. Like that's an unfair advantage, and it's real not fair. Like fighting isn't fair. You know, sometimes you just get caught, but you want it to be as even as possible. So at the end of your career, you know that I'm better than this guy. Like I am 100% better than this guy. Brock Lesnar can't say that he's better than Mark Hunt. Brock Lesnar can't say that he's better than, you know, whoever else he's fought. Nobody that's juiced up can't truly say that they're better because what they've been, you know, they are like just an evolved version of themselves.
And in saying that, bro, like, and I'm not letting any secrets out on a spoiler, it's because we all know the result of that fight. But you look at Mark Hunt's face afterwards, he looked okay. I mean, it isn't like, you know, a little bit lumpy in that. But that's crazy, bro. But like to go in against Brock, imagine just throwing a normal heavyweight dude off the street in with Brock. It probably wouldn't last the first round. And once again, just goes to show, I'm really selling Mark Hunt tonight. But what a legend day, bro. Like, just go see the movie, and you probably already know a little bit about his life. But a guy that hasn't had much training goes in with some of the beasts of the world. It's probably not a good health and safety endorsement, but it goes to show how tough he naturally is. And like I said, some people just born with it. Yeah, bro. And even him being at the clubs and then getting the hey, come and train, you know, like that, like, and then him just being like, I ain't sweet, like that's or what, like that fighter was always in him, you know, constantly in him, bro. Like, talking about the UFC, did you watch the fights? Yep. Sure did. Had my you know, a couple of family members over, and we were ecstatic. I mean, obviously it wasn't good to see the result before for our boy Brad, Cantabrian Riddell against Vaiziev. I actually interviewed Vaiziev last night, which was fun. Moving forward though, Kai Kara. Biggest win of his career. You know, we always knew he was destined for it. He hits hard. You know, he always whacks around the bigger guys. I mean, he has to too, because there's not many guys around his weight. But he throws his own. And man, I mean, I was a little bit weary, but I'm going to throw it out there because I like Cody as well. I like his story. I like how he beat TJ, doing what he's done, and then came down. And I was a little bit torn with that fight. Obviously, I wanted Kai to take it out, being you know, Kiwi supporter. But shit, he did it in devastating fashion. He sent him astro traveling.
Bruh. Bruh, shit. It was just like Cody's ancestors felt that one. Like, it was just like, holy, I went mental here because I was just me at the house, and I was just watching it. I was actually just watching. I just bought the pay-per-view on my phone because I usually go out and like go with friends and stuff like that, and we go to a bar and then just chill out. But like this time I was just wanting to just chill and watch the fights, you know? And bro, when that happened, I was just like, holy shit. Just so bad. And bro, Kai, that right hand, honestly, like he's such a hard person to spar. Like
Yeah, I was going to say, like, what's it like? Because he's 5'4",
yeah.
which, makes me feel like a tall guy. I'm about 5'7", but
Nah.
I haven't sparred with him yet, and I know you haven't.
Yeah,
and he whacks hard, right?
Yeah, well, he just touches you, bro, and it's like it just does this compact fridge, bro, just smashing you, and it's so fast, and you'd think that knowing that he's got that solid right hand, so you got to be wary of it. He still touches you with it, even with his arms like half the length of yours. How he gets in is just it's crazy, bro. Volkanovski's got that same thing as well, where he's always a shorter guy, but his punches, his jab seems longer, his overhands seem longer, like they seem to touch, and him landing that overhand, you knew that was coming. You just didn't know when it was going to come, right? You knew that was coming from when Cody walked down, you could see he wasn't there. And for Cody to start the fight going backwards, right? He's not really a backwards fighter. He's more pressure. Once he started going back, everything was in Kai's court. Now Cody just had to figure out how to get around that right hand, and he kept moving. Kai kept stalking him, bruh. Bang, bang.
I loved how he changed, and I think he's so good at, like you said, closing that distance. It's almost like, even though he is shorter and smaller, he closes that distance so much quicker than others, and he comes forward, and before you know it, well, you're touched up, or you've gone down, and like you said, he's touched you, and it probably hasn't even thrown it super hard, but he's just so good at pinpointing that power, right?
Yeah, he's so good, and he's so good at just finding it. He's so good at just finding your chin, right? I hope they give him the title shot next. I really hope. I don't know if they, with the politics and shit in sports, I don't know if they will, but I hope they do. Right?
Well, that's the thing. You saw that press conference, and they're like, "Hey, Dana, Kai Kara said that he's not fighting until he gets the title," and Dana said, "Well, really?" And he said it like in a sort of scoff, laugh way. Yeah. It goes to show too that the UFC does kind of call their shots, right? Look what they've done to Johnny Jones, Conor. They're quite a beast, right?
Yeah. Well, it's at the end of the day, how it's a business, right? And then how it's run is getting bums on seats. And if you can generate interest, then you get the bigger paydays, right? You get more viewers. That just means more money in your pocket, right? And that, I think that's probably one of the things that happened with DJ. What's his name? I forget his name now. DJ
Dillashaw?
No, DJ. He was like the bantamweight.
Oh, Mighty Mouse.
Mighty Mouse, yeah. Mighty Mouse, right? Best, like, honestly, probably like the best fighter ever, bruh. His movement, his skills, and everything is just perfect all around, right? The perfect fighter, but there was no push. There was no push because
which is the size of a mouse.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly, bro. And fighters knew, like, nah, he's the real deal, right? But unfortunately, majority of viewers aren't fighters. They're just there for the shit talk, because that's what sells tickets, right? The shit talking, the eyes, the bums on seats. That's what, that's when you have these guys like Conor come in, Chael Sonnen come in, like these guys that, Chael's a good example because he wasn't the best fighter, but he could talk shit, and that got him the big paydays.
Here's the thing for you as a fighter. Do you see that too? Like obviously you got to be a good fighter. You got to put scores on doors. You got to get the wins, but it's becoming part of the business now. Your marketability, how well you sell yourself. Once you do go back and you have a crack back at the title, is that going to be a big part of your play? And do you even say that to fighters, or is it more just so get your skills, get your technique up, and then once you start winning the straps, we'll start talking about your marketability?
I think you like. I feel like I'm quite. I'm not really a big shit talker guy. I will, if somebody says some shit, then obviously I'll reply, but I wouldn't change really who I am. I'm quite a confident, outspoken person anyway, right? So I feel like I wouldn't step too far out of my lane in terms of being somebody that I'm not. I will definitely talk shit like when I need to, Do you know what I mean? But that's just me. I just talk shit ever since I was a kid. It's like Carlos talks too much, but it's just like, so what? You don't talk enough, and what I have to say matters, you know. So you just got, but that's just me, bro. It's just like I've always just been focused on me, like what I can do. I mean, if what I say, I don't intentionally say things to hurt people's feelings or whatnot, but I'll say things and it might hurt some people's feelings. Like that's not me saying it to hurt your feelings, but that's just me. You know what I mean? And I understand how big the UFC marketing machine is. Like that, and for combat sports now, that's one of the most important. Like that's probably more important than your actual fighting skills. Right.
Look at Sean O'Malley. I ran to an old boxing head the other day, and they said to me, they're like, you know who I don't like? I'm like, who? And he said, the UFC Izzy fight. I'm like, why? He's like, oh, he just talks too much. I'm like, well, his bank account probably ain't saying that, man. Like, and I'm not saying you got to talk your way to get to the top, but it does help. It does help in a way.
Yeah, 100%. And you can tell the dudes who are being authentic as well. You know what I mean? Like Izzy, that's him. That's who he is. He's
not faking it.
I've never known him to be. We were in China together for a little while. Like I've never known him to not be that guy. Like no cameras around. The bro is still just doing his thing. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Brad's the perfect example. All the skills in the world, but Brad will never talk shit because that's not who he is. Do you know what I mean? He'll talk about it, and Brad's just been this stoic dude forever.
Stoic. That's the word, yeah.
You know, and they're like with Izzy, Connor and Izzy, they're cut from the same cloth, right? They're just outspoken dudes living their best life. I don't give a shit if you like me or not. Floyd Mayweather as well, put him in that category. You know, whether you love him or hate him, you know, or you want to see him get knocked out, you're still gonna pay to watch. You know,
you're 100% right. I think that's the thing. Like, whether you love somebody or hate them, if you're paying to watch them, they're winning. Like Jake Paul. Some people could go on and on and on, like, oh, you know, that's crazy, wrecking the sport. To an extent, who knows? Will I be watching him against Woodley again this weekend? Maybe, probably.
Yeah.
Will I be watching Parker? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
That's what we do as fighters. I think I love to see a crazy outcome, a result, a fight. And even if it means a YouTuber beating a UFC champion, well, it kind of just shows at times like how crazy the world is.
Well, and I love it. I love these spectacles, bro. Like it's entertainment at the end of the day. Like for me, obviously, boxing isn't my sport, but him coming in and bringing all these eyes, like people are looking at it wrong, right? They're like him coming in, bringing all these eyes to boxing now, because boxing, like you got to admit, was real quiet. Like the heavy or like just elite boxing, you only knew probably 3 dudes. Do you know what I mean? At each era, you know. But if we were to go back maybe 20, 50 years, we had all the hagglers, the what's his name, freaking Sugar Ray Leonard, and like and then you knew all the heavyweights as well. Like whereas now we know Tyson Fury. Well, see, heavyweight boxing is coming back alive, right? Because then we know more than 2 heavyweight boxers. You know, like when Klitschko was the heavyweight champion, I only knew Klitschko. Like,
yeah, cool.
Klitschko was. Yeah, now I know Fury. Like what's his name, Wilder, this Usyk dude. You know what I mean? Like Parker, obviously, Junior Fast coming out. Like multiple heavyweights now. Whereas when what's his name was the champ for 10 years, he was the only guy.
Well, that's the thing. If someone starts going to a rant and rave, and I'm thinking, I even would say it, like, why are you angry, bro? Like, they are elevating the sport. They're getting more popular. It goes to show if you, do talk a little bit, but market yourself, go hard, get the numbers up. We are talking about it. Every day people are starting to know more and more about the sport. Why are you mad, bro? Just watch the fights you want. Because if you really want to, you can watch Mexican boxing all weekend, the authenticity of that, real skill fighting. You can watch, if you're a jiu-jitsu practitioner, you can watch jiu-jitsu. Just watch your own thing and be happy about it. Don't be mad at the people like elevating the sport in a spectacle way.
or elevating themselves, right? A lot of people get mad at success. A lot of people they hate on something because they can't do it, and it's just their own insecurities. Like, oh, like Jake Paul's ruining boxing. Like, is he though? Is he really? Like, a lot of the fighters on his undercard are getting way more money than the other promotions that were coming before that. So how was that ruined? But I guarantee you, ask any boxer on the undercard, they'll tell you, nah, I'm actually getting paid a lot more for this because there's more eyes on the sport now, you know? And like, I love it, bro. I love that this kid is coming in, doing his thing, bro, living his best life, doing what he wants to do, bro. I don't understand why people hate so much until, like, most people just want to argue. Most people just want something to critique.
The thing is, bro, the most people ever complaining about someone and never doing better than that person. So this is probably why they're complaining. You know, and we just got to keep pushing forward, live as positive lives as we can, and enjoy these spectacles and the pure fights, because it's what a good time to be alive, you know, for everything.
Bro, like Kambosos, look at that. That's a good example, bro. Like he beat what's his name, Lopez, and that's huge, bro. And then, like, I watched that fight going, holy shit, like the bro actually did that shit. You know, like I'm not the hugest boxing fan, but now boxing is getting exciting again because you've got the likes of Loma, Teofilo, Tank. You've got all these other lighter boys, bro, that are just, you know, they talk and it's good, but they've got skills, bro. And then now there isn't really that too much of a gap between the skills now, you know what I mean? Whereas for a long time, nobody was touching Mayweather, you know, in the lighter divisions, right? Nobody was touching Costa in the lighter divisions.
Well, I think as humans, we love a really evenly contested war. Like, even if I like watch rugby or league, I'd rather an up and down game, and then there's like a try scored in the last minute than the All Blacks to smash Australia. As much as I love seeing us lose. Ethan, where you at? Nah. But you know, like, as humans, we just love that. That's exciting. You know, very last minute, we want to see war. Even sometimes, if I'm supporting a fight and the other guy wins, but it was a real good war, and you know, that's what we want. You know, even as a person, you don't want to win easily. It's not nice. It's not a good feeling when you win or you get something after really hard work. And it's a war. It's so much, you know, victory's so much sweeter.
Yeah. Like, I think any fighter will tell you that the hardest fights are the best ones, right? It sucks going into a fight and beating somebody in the first round, because, like, you know, with my experience in King of the Ring, I was just like, with the first fight and then the second fight, I just was like, I just wanna go for it, you know what I mean? Just go for it. And then in the third fight of Blood, there was a lot of back and forth, but I felt like that was my favorite fight because I earned it. Do you know what I mean?
Can we talk about that for a sec? Because Blood, he's got to be one of the most awkward, drunken master type fighters, and you know, sometimes he looks like he's not there, half asleep, and he will throw this crazy spinning flip kick and KO somebody. What was it like? How do you prepare for a guy like that?
Well, you can't. You can't prepare for, like, he's just like he is. He's like a, I don't know. It's like he's got like 8 limbs, bro. Like, for real. Like, he's honestly
like an octopus.
And he'll like, each of his joints are like triple, double jointed, bro. Like, it's just, he can throw it from anywhere, and you can't really prepare for it. All you do is know like what strike he likes throwing, and then we build off that, you know. So that, like, preparing for that fight, just being fit, that was it. Like, my skills was going to get me there, but I know my fitness was going to take me further.
You know, I remember calling out some of the stats to King of the Ring, right? And it's such a highly respected accolade to win King of the Ring. You know, we've even had Izzy who won it. We've had Dan Hooker, yourself. You know, is that one of your prouder moments? Like, is it one of your, in terms of your whole fighting career, would be winning that be up there with that in terms of everything that you've done and won?
Yeah. Winning my world title was pretty special as well. But that King of the Ring was more me proving that I am that guy. You know, like the last time I jumped in King of the Ring in 2013, I think it was. I only had a handful of fights, and then Blood, that triple jointed kick that I talk about, Blood actually landed that shit on me. Bang, shut my lights out, you know? So from then until when I won it, like I went to China, bro. Back then I thought I was the number one in this country in my weight division, right? But when I came back, I still knew that, but now I had all these other skills and all this other experience that things. So the win for me was like almost a relief. So more than an excitement, you know what I mean? It was just like yeah, see, I told you. Like, you know, it was just like you know what I mean? Like, you know, but the most for me, my most proudest moment was winning my world title. And that was for me, it was just like, bro, I had my whole family there, and I had write-ups in Fiji and stuff in the papers and stuff there, and it was cool. It was cool how representing my country and just like being the first Fijian to win like a world title in kickboxing. That was my biggest moment.
You know, that is huge. I mean, your accolades and your titles are, you know, limitless and go a long way. And what's next, though? I mean, obviously we're coming out of lockdown, we're going to 2022. You're training people, but have you got something lined up as well?
March, bro. March. I've got something lined up in March. So we've been talking about it. So it's
Can you give us a bit more than that? You can't just say March.
March, bro. March, bro. I'll be back, and I'll be back and blacker than ever. You know?
and it's going to be in New Zealand, right? Like probably Auckland.
Yeah, Hamilton. Bro. Yeah. It'll be in New Zealand. So look out for that. I start proper training in Jan, like start building up with Ethan and that.
And do you just say Jan because you want a bit of Christmas ham, break a bit of Christmas pud?
Yeah.
You say Jan?
Yeah. Well, I think we all need to, right? We need to just break our body down to build it back up again. So Jan is going to be the one. That's going to be me. Well, yeah. What are you up to this Christmas holidays? What's the plans?
I'll be going down to Otautahi, Christchurch. So, you know, we talked about the backs before, and part of the reason why I did it so I can go back and see my family. Yeah. Back in Christchurch. That's where I'm originally from. I've got siblings down there, my mum, my dad. So it'll be really good to see them. And that's what I've realised too, without getting too, you know, too soppy near the end. But I love catching up with them because over the years I've done crazy stuff. I've never even been in New Zealand for Christmas and New Year's, you know, full moon parties and bloody Burj Khalifa, all sorts of
planting
stuff,
planting your seeds in other countries, eh?
Something like that. But as I grow older now, just sitting there at the table, man, I sound like an old man, but sitting at the table with my family, you know, a couple of beers and some good food. We put on a mean spread, you know, with crayfish, white bait, all that, chicken, like you name it, man. It's not lamb
penis. Not lamb penis, though, I bet.
No lamb penis in here, bro. It's straight, like everything opposite that. Like, quality. And yeah, man, like I'll probably gain a couple of kilos, so I might have to, you know, buy some new shorts or just hit the K's and go for a run so I can get that waistline down again.
Let's go. Let's go. That's my plan too, bro. I'm just gonna get fat and then lose it all and then die in Jan. That's the plan,
bro. But like that, bro, I've seen you over the years, man. I don't ever think your six pack goes away. So I'm hating on that, man. Like, how do we get a bod like the Flying Fijian?
Bro, the secret is don't take your shirt off when it's not there. That's the secret, cuz. It's just so simple. Don't take your shirt off when it's not there.
So whenever you're ripped, the shirt comes off, you do it for the gram, and then when the belly comes out, you're like, yo, no photos.
If you see me with my t-shirt on, bro, you know the abs aren't there. I remember talking to this guy that he was one of the sales like managers at Nestle, right? And I was looking for some sponsorship for scorched almonds. Because I love scorched almonds, bro. That's like, but if I was to eat anything sweet, it would be scorched almonds, right? So and because I kept putting like scorched almonds on my story and saying, Nestle, you got to sponsor me some shit, right? And then the bro who's part of their marketing and sales and shit messaged me and he goes, hey bro, I got a couple of like big boxes full of scorched almonds. He's like, if you want it, like, and I go, bro, yes, like, come to me, Santa. Like, it's freaking, of course. Yeah, bro. And then so I'm promoting scorched almonds, saying, if you want abs, have scorched almonds. Go buy scorched almonds and you get abs like me. Probably not the best thing, but it's delicious and nobody's gonna complain.
Bro, if you find those salted caramel ones, you're gonna be competing, bro, but you're gonna be straight sumo. If you find those salted caramel scorched almonds, man, off the charts. I bought some to work, right? I like put them on the table. I came back, they're all gone.
Damn, I might give it a go. I might actually go out and buy some now.
So, hey, Nestle, new sponsor, scorched almonds. Put it down the bottom of the screen next time.
Yeah. Hard. You need me for some scorched almond marketing. I'm your guy. All day, shirts on, shirts off, whatever you want.
Giving too many free plugs, man.
Nah, easy, brother. I know you got shit to do today, bro. I really enjoyed this talk. I honestly did, bro. And you want to leave us with something, bro? Like people out there, crazy times right now, bro. Leave us with something.
I just want to say, look, thank you, bro, for having me on. Thanks to everyone listening. I hope we brought like even a smile, laugh to anyone watching back home or listening, whether you're out on a run, or going to bed or whatever it may be, driving somewhere else. Have a safe, have a blessed holiday. Have an awesome time with your loved ones. And as we go into the new year, be kind to people, accept everyone's views, and just do your best to try and make the world a better place. And that sphere that surrounds you, just throw it out there. And I just pray that everyone that listening has an awesome 2022.
Amen, brother. Amen. Thank you so much, bro. I honestly really enjoyed this talk, and like, you're the man, bro. And we'll catch up soon when all this is over, bro. We'll catch up soon. Have some salty caramel scorched almonds or some shit. Oh, bro.
Can't wait to have one of those, bro. You have a wicked time with the family over the break, and we look forward to March. Seeing you back in.
You too, my bro. I'll see you in March too. Sweet, brother.